For episode 1, we have Tanjiro, who is a typical main character where he has potential to become something greater. Someone else sees something in him. Giyu, who meets Tanjiro, sees potential in him. And we'll get into that a little bit later, more into detail, but that's the basic formula here that this anime decides to use, which is a formula that's used time and time again. I don't mind it. While it is predictable in a way, it's a formula that works. Especially with anime, I feel like a lot of anime fans are accustomed to something like this. And Tanjiro is definitely a likable character. He starts off, as a charcoal seller, like he sells charcoal to the villages around the area where he lives. He lives up in the mountains, and so the show starts off with him going to sell charcoal to the nearest village, and villagers know him. He's a very well-known charcoal salesman. And basically what ends up happening is he stays out too late. He wants to go up the mountain. He gets stopped by a guy who lives in the middle of nowhere in the mountains and tells him to sleep there for the night. And during that night, Tanjiro's whole family is killed by demons. He finds this out when he returns home and then realizes that his sister Nezuko is actually still alive, but she has been turned into a demon and has attained the attributes of demons. They're very strong physically, and they have a very violent nature. But it's a sister. He doesn't want to kill her. But then she shows potential that she actually can somewhat control her desire to kill humans. Then it goes on from there. So I think the dynamic between Tanjiro and Nezuko is very interesting. The way the show does it, it's very comical, very cute, very adorable. You can feel the sense of responsibility that both Tanjiro and Nezuko have towards each other. Nezuko feels like she needs to protect Tanjiro. Tanjiro feels like he needs to protect Nezuko. And I do enjoy that aspect of the show and their little interactions with each other. And it makes for an interesting plot because you're, as a viewer, as a consumer, you're wondering, how long does this go on with Nezuko? Does she eventually get cured? Because that's what Tanjiro wants. He wants to cure Nezuko of this state that she's in, and you're wondering when that's going to happen or how that's going to happen. It makes for a very, very interesting plot and interesting story, and sets a really good tone for how the rest of the show might go on. Obviously, I still have more to watch and find out. Another thing I really liked is the constant optimism that Tanjiro has for every situation and scenario. He sees the bad, he sees the good, and kind of puts the two together and figures out a solution. And I think that's pretty typical and pretty normal for a main protagonist to do, to find the way out, per se, or way through to solve an issue or to overcome an obstacle. I think it's a little bit unique with Tanjiro. For example, I'm going to jump ahead of my notes here a little bit. When he meets Giyu, after he's found out that Nezuko has become a demon, he meets Giyu, which is the first official demon slayer that we encounter in the show. And Gyu's actually a really, really cool character. I like his demeanor. I like his attitude, his characteristics. You can tell that he's been a demon slayer for quite some time because when he sees Nezuko, realizes she's a demon, automatically he's like, we need to slay this demon. She can't live. But Tanjiro ends up protecting Nezuko. Nezuko actually ends up protecting Tanjiro. And then Giyu sees this and sees a very unique situation. And even though he's been battle hardened to basically turn off the switch when it comes to compassion, I feel like that switch turned on when he saw this unique situation and this unique relationship that Tanjiro and Nezuko have, even though Nezuko has become a demon. And he shows a little bit of compassion and takes a chance on it. I thought it was a pretty cool dynamic to see in the show. It made me feel personally connected to Giyu, that he was able to see a situation in a very human way let his pride go a little bit and let his instincts go a little bit and do something different than he's done before. I feel like as human beings, we do the same thing, and so we adapt to our situations and we try and make the best of negative scenarios. And I really liked that aspect of it. So, um, and I really do believe Tanjiro's determination and Tanjiro's optimism being unmatched really helps with this situation with Giyu. And there's a hatchet throw that Tanjiro does. Almost actually gets Giyu. Giyu gets distracted by Tanjiro. Tanjiro throws the hatchet. Giyu didn't see this coming, and it was actually a really cool moment where he almost got hit by the hatchet and realized that Tanjiro actually has a lot of potential. And I really like the way they did that. It was really, really cool, really unique, and gave us a lens to see through when it comes to what Tanjiro is really about. In the moments that he needs to step up, he does. Even though he may be outmatched, he's going to find a unique way or another avenue to pursue in order to overcome his obstacles, which creates a very cool dynamic in the show where he has the potential to do unique things throughout the show to overcome his obstacles and overcome his challenges that he will face. So I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see what happens and everything like that. And then one of the last things that I definitely want to touch on is the little up next scenes for the episodes at the end of each episode when they do the whole let's summarize what's going to happen next. I love the interactions that Tanjiro and Nezuko have with each other. It's very cute, it's very adorable, and I think it adds a really, really nice touch to these anime vibes in this show. And the little manga backdrop that they have going on when they're doing these little scenes at the end of each episode to summarize what's going to happen in the next episode, I think adds a really, really nice touch and feel to this type of thing. And I'm all for it. I love filler stuff in anime. I love all the little things that a lot of people don't necessarily like or care for. It's just something that I personally have grown accustomed to and have grown attached to when it comes to these little filler things or these little moments in these anime shows that I've grown to actually love. So I think these little scenes definitely add a really, really nice touch to the end of each episode, and really in a way is a very good way of carrying us to the next episode and feeding us a little bit of a teaser in a way to keep us watching. I think it's very, very clever. So overall, I think for this first episode, they did a really good job setting the stage, setting the tone, and giving us an idea of what we can expect throughout the show. Obviously, as things develop, it might turn out a little bit differently than we halfway expect. But for a first episode, I think they did a fine job setting the plot and giving the plot some life while also leaving room for us to wonder what's going to happen next. I believe that's a very good formula, very good approach to a first episode, and overall it just makes me excited to see what's going to happen next here in Demon Slayer. So let me know your thoughts on episode 1, season 1 of Demon Slayer. Have you seen it? Have you not? And if you haven't, I would definitely recommend watching this if you are an anime fan in general. So, but yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm out, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.